Welcome to the video on making homemade soaps using an Impressive Putty reusable mold making material. This video will guide you through the step-by-step process of creating your own customized soaps. So here we go. First of all, safety. You want to make sure you're wearing some safety goggles and some gloves throughout this entire process and work in a well-ventilated area. The list of ingredients will be down below. There's a whole bunch of different things, the most important one being the lye, which is the sodium hydroxide, so that will connect with the oils, and you can use pretty much any kind of oils. Now to make some unique shaped soap molds, we're using an Impressive Putty, a reusable mold making material that can be remelted and reused as many times as you want. To start, let's make that mold. And to do that, you need to heat up the Impressive Putty in the microwave. If you don't have a microwave, pretty much any heat source will work, but the microwave is the fastest. Since the idea of this is to show off the Impressive Putty, I wanted to show the Impressive Putty being remelted from something I had shaped before. So this was a buckle. I'm now done with that buckle. I've made it into a plastic, and now I'm going to remelt that mold and make it into a soap piece. After it's heated, the Impressive Putty is a soft, flexible rubber. You want to squish out any creases in the putty and then push it over the object that you're making a mold out of. In this case, we're using a plastic ice cream, and it will make a really cool soap mold. Impressive Putty cools to solidify, so after we have this mold made, we'll just let it sit and it will cool, or we can stick it in the freezer to cool faster and we can have a mold really quickly. Impressive Putty can handle temperatures up to about 205 degrees Fahrenheit. This allows you to pour hot materials in it like waxes and also hot soaps. We're using a cold press process for our soap making, so we won't have to worry about that at all. Here's the buckle mold that's been heated and it's now ready to go. Want to be sure to let the Impressive Putty cool a little bit before you handle it because it can be hot after you get it out of the microwave. We're going to make a boot mold for our soap. Haven't you always wanted a piece of soap in the shape of a boot? Well, this was a magnet that we used and I like the shape, and it'd be pretty cool for a cowboy themed Airbnb, I think. As you can see, the putty is pretty simple to use. After you've heated it, you let it cool a little bit so it's easy to handle, and then you pull out any creases that are in the putty and then push it over your object. And then you want to just make sure that you have the object covered smoothly and effectively. And the putty can be remelted and reused as many times as you want. If you like a mold, you can keep it. If you don't like the mold, you can remelt it and do it again. The Impressive Putty that's used for making the soap is also great for other casting materials like resins, epoxies, urethanes, polyesters, waxes, polymer clay, and lots of other materials. I had a little bit extra of the Impressive Putty that I had heated, so I said, hey, why not make some other shapes? So I took some seashells and a little half egg, and I made that into little molds that will make little tiny cool soaps. And as you can see, the process is the same. I take the putty, I soften it in the microwave, I push it over my object, and I have my mold. After cooling, I want to pull out the master object from the mold, and I will be all set to make the soap and put it into the molds. Quiz for you: how many times have I said mold so far, and how many times will I say mold by the end of this video? There is the mold all set to go. I did that on purpose. You can make pretty complex molds with the Impressive Putty, even doing two-part molds if you like to by chilling one half of the mold prior to pressing on the other Impressive Putty. As long as the one part's cold, you can add the other Impressive Putty to it and it won't stick. So here's our shapes, and now we're ready to make the soap. There are lots and lots of different recipes out there on how to make soap, so I'm going to show you the basics of using olive oil, coconut oil, and water with the sodium hydroxide lye to make a basic soap mold. First, you want to add the sodium hydroxide into water to make a solution of water and lye. This will heat up and get fuzzy initially, and just let this sit on the side until it's cool. And while we're doing that, we're going to mix up the oils. Now we've set that to the side and we're going to mix the oils. I'm using a vegetable oil because I like the feel of that, and I'm going to add a little bit of coconut butter, coconut oil to that to make it smoother. The coconut oil will need to be heated up to melt, so I'm going to put it in the microwave and melt that a little bit. And if you want, you can add different fragrances at this point, or you can add different materials. Some people like a little bit of honey in here. I added a little drop of honey. And you can add some oatmeal, you can add some charcoal, you can pretty much add anything you want at this point to make it unique and customize it to what you like. With your safety gear on, pour the lye water solution into the oils and start mixing. This will take a little bit of time, so we're going to speed this up. You can tell you're done mixing when you pull out the mixer and the drips go back onto it and it leaves a little spot. Probably I'd do a little bit more than what I have here, so the spots are a little bit thicker and the soap is now still pourable, but it's starting to thicken up a lot. And that's the starting of the oils connecting with the lye. So pour that into the molds. Now if you pay attention there, you'll see that the soap isn't quite as filled as it was at the beginning there. I used a little bit of the soap for a different video on using ComposiMold molds to make soap molds. It's the same process, except we made the molds out of ComposiMold instead of the Impressive Putty. Now we fill up our molds and we let this sit for at least 24 hours, closer to 48 hours, and even a little bit longer would be better. And after you've let this set, you want to carefully push out the soap from the molds. The soap has hardened up quite a bit, but it's still soft, so you want to still be careful. After it's out of the molds, you want it to sit for at least 2 weeks, closer to 4 weeks, so it can harden up through the sapification process to make nice soaps that you can use. Here's the soap of the ice cream cone. It's a plastic piece of ice cream that we made into soap using the Impressive Putty mold. Now here's the boot. I know this is the one you're all looking forward to, is what does that boot look like? And ta-da! There's our boot soap. Get a kick out of that, don't you? The Impressive Putty picks up the details very nicely, and it has a really cool theme to it. Now before you clam up, I'm going to show you the seashells. Here are the seashells. Going to pull those out of the molds really quickly, and we get different shapes there, which is very nice. Here's the egg. Now at any point, the Impressive Putty can be remelted and reused. You can use these same shapes to make lots of different soaps if you want to, and then when you're ready and you want to make new shapes, say for a new season or just a different design, put it back in the microwave, heat it up again, and you have new shapes. And congratulations, you've successfully made homemade soap using an Impressive Putty mold. With practice and experimentation, you can create lots and lots of different soaps and different recipes to suit your preferences. Remember to be careful and use safety gear and enjoy the process of making soap. If you have any questions or if you have any comments, please let me know. We have lots of videos on our YouTube channel and also on our website. Thank you and see you soon.